a second.
Hi, everyone. We're about to get started in just a minute. I'm waiting for a couple others to show, but we'll probably get started about 1 minute after the hour. Okay, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully you can see my screen in the background here. Certainly I want to kind of flow through this. So today's agenda, we're just going to kind of keep this really brief, and we'll field some questions after. But I want to show you essentially how the VictorOps platform works. We'll do an example where we'll send in a command or an alert, and then show you how we can triage that really quickly and utilizing some of the different functionality within the VictorOps platform. We'll talk a little bit about reporting and some different settings that you can set up. And certainly if you have questions, feel free to shoot those in, or we can certainly follow up with you after the demo. Now, the VictorOps platform was founded by founders who needed to have uptime of 99.99% of the time. And so years ago, they didn't have something like this, and that's sort of where this product was born from. And what you'll see is the product's designed for you to collaborate amongst your teams. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into it. And you'll see up on the screen here, I have two different platforms. I have the web UI up, and then I also plugged in our phone here so you can see what happens to the phone as we trigger alerts, what that looks like from a messaging standpoint, because it's important to note that we are a mobile-first company, and a lot of times we're triaging these different incidents from the mobile platform. So if we look first off at the web UI, you'll see there's three different panes here: the people pane, the timeline, and then the incident pane. On the left-hand side is the people pane, and certainly I have that showing up too on the mobile UI. If I wanted to see something else, I could just scroll to the right on the mobile UI, and it will show the timeline and then the individual incident pane. So coming from the people pane on the left-hand side, it will denote who's on call by the oak leaf. So it shows Jesse Pinkman's actually on call, and he's on call for the database demo team. Now, you can be on call for multiple teams too, certainly, but in this case, Jesse Pinkman's only on call for the database demo team. Now, in this example, we have Goodman logged into the web UI, and on the phone is actually Jesse Pinkman. So we'll be able to see some interaction back and forth. As Sal Goodman, I can come into Jesse Pinkman. Let's say I wanted to get in touch with him. Click on Pinkman, and for one, I can do a private chat. And you'll notice on the right-hand side, and you heard by the sound, Pinkman got a push notification from Sal. So you can come into Sal's name on the the mobile UI, click on his name, look at the chat functionality, and chat back if he wanted to. Now, going back to the web UI, a couple other different things that you could do. Certainly, if I wanted to come back to communicate with Jesse, I could take his on call if I wanted to by clicking Take on Call, and that would be updated in the main timeline here. From here, I can also contact them via email and phone. So just an easy way, think of this as an easy way to communicate when you need to get in touch with someone very quickly. Okay, so that's the people pane. We'll come back in a second. I want to show you to set up a control call. Certainly we can talk about that in a few minutes. In the middle, this is our Twitter-like timeline. And this is really important to show because this is different from our competitors. What this will do is track everything that happens within the VictorOps timeline and with VictorOps platform. And what's nice about this is you'll be able to pull reporting later on this and really see how, maybe if you're doing a post-mortem, see how things broke down, how you fixed it and resolved it, so you can apply those new practices to future, and then also create different annotations with our transmogrifier. So for example, with our transmogrifier, you'll see two annotations. This is how we attach different documentation to different alerts that are coming in. So let me find a pretty good one here. So this one's got 4 annotations. If I click on it, I'll have notes here that can give me a description of what to do next, a graph, runbooks. So runbooks, anything with a link, you can hyperlink it to our actual annotations here. What's important to point out, this is just a static graph, but you can also include a live graph if you wanted to with live documentation. This is our timeline. A couple other things to point out. We can also certainly look at it through a filtered timeline, which means that we can come in and filter out different information if we wanted to. This could be helpful if you wanted to actually block out some information that doesn't pertain to you. Now, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to trigger an alert and see how we handle it and how that would work within the VictorOps timeline, or the VictorOps platform. So I'm triggering an alert. Notice that Pinkman gets the alert here. From here, Pinkman on the phone can come in and see that this is the alert that came in. He can acknowledge that alert. And then from here, he can go into that acknowledged alert and see exactly what he needs to do to what's happened, why it came in, and how to triage and resolve the incident from here. So again, with the annotations attached, you can take those annotations and figure out the best way to resolve an incident. So if I click on 3 annotations, I see, okay, we have a graph here showing me what's happening. We also have a runbook that's attached with GitHub with information on how to resolve the incident. And then we have triage notes here. So if I wanted to bring someone else in on this conversation, certainly I could from down here. And I'm sending a note to Goodman. So what's happening is Goodman's in the platform. He sees that a message come from Pinkman, he needs help. And notice that we have a specific incident number attached to that. So Goodman can easily come down. As you can see on the right-hand side of the incident pane, there's several different incident numbers. You can see the exact one that he needs help with. Click on that incident, and then now he's within the individual war room with Pinkman, and they're working together to resolve this incident. Now from here, he can see the different annotations of what he needs to do to fix this. Now, first balance the server. If that doesn't resolve the issue, contact Walter White. So let's assume the server they balance it, it's still not working. From here, what he could do is he could set up a control call, add Jesse to it, and Hank, and let's grab Walter. And we're going to start the control call. Now, I'm sure most people on the phone have a WebEx sort of platform. What's nice is this is all baked into the system. So from here, Pinkman on his phone can click this up top at the blue that says control call. And then it's a 2-click, and he's in the call, now dialing to join that call. From here, if you have someone that's not actually in the VictorOps platform, you can share this dial-in information from here. This is just a great way for your team to collaborate and work to resolve the incident together. And so let's go ahead and assume that they fixed this. We can add our control call notes here. And From here, we can either reroute the incident to a different team if we wanted to, or we can go ahead and resolve it. By resolving it, it will also note that it updates within the timeline this has been resolved, and everything's back to normal. That just kind of gives you a glimpse of what you can do within the platform, how you can resolve incidents from the actual platform. Okay, so that covers the main timeline. Certainly feel free to send in some questions and we'll address those after to discuss how this would work, or if you have questions more about this, certainly we can take them offline. Now within the settings platform, if I click on settings, this is where you can come in and set up schedules for your different teams. Now notice we already have several teams here. Certainly I can add a new team if I wanted to. You create different teams and you can create different schedules based on that team. We'll start with the everyone team. Clicking on that, and the first thing that we'll have us do is set up an escalation policy. Now this is really important. Now certainly you can set up individual escalation policy for your own self, but this is more when an alert comes in for this team, how do you handle it, right? So from here, as you can see, there's a slew of options. You can even execute webhooks if you wanted to, send an email to someone else outside the platform, notify users. In this case, we have notify everyone. And then if the incident's unact after 5 minutes, we can also, in step 2, notify other teams if you wanted to. Or what's great here is you can notify different individuals, maybe a boss if you wanted to. Well, funny story is we had an individual set up this before, and he was telling us he has on the 3rd step to notify his wife if it's unact by that time. So, certainly you can do some different things if you wanted to in the platform. Now down below, this is where you can set up a different rotation for your team. Now if you click add rotation, we kind of can make it easy. You can do a standard, follow the sun, or you can design your own custom one if that certainly applies to you. Once you create your shifts and rotations, it's in the platform, and you don't really need to change your rotation unless someone leaves, or actually if you change your rotation, take someone out of it. Because if we go back to schedules, down at the bottom, let's say if you're going to go on vacation, you can certainly set up a schedule override. And this is probably the best recommendation if you want to take someone off call for a couple weeks. This would be, so let's say I'm going on vacation, I can set up an override. And even if I'm on call for multiple teams, the system's going to tell you which times he's on call and who you would like to take over for those different teams while he's out actually on vacation. So it's a nice quick way to schedule something to override, to schedule an override for your schedule. That schedules to pop into users, as I mentioned before, this is where you can actually set up different users within the platform and set up their own escalation policy. So this is where you can tie in your phone, as we saw with Pinkman. He was getting those alerts to his actual mobile phone. You're going to set up multiple phones if you wanted to. From here, we can show, obviously, the cell phone, home number, your email address. And then here's your individual paging policy, how you would like that to be set up. And obviously you can add multiple steps within that step if you wanted to. Now with our integrations, as you can see on the right-hand side, we have a lot of integrations. We have some that haven't been documented here yet, but are actually live and going. You may have noticed this week we did just announce that we are starting a bi-directional integration with ServiceNow. So that is in fact up and running if you are using that as your service management platform. We have some others here. And just take a quick example. If we look at Amazon CloudWatch, if I click on that, it will show you the SNS subscription URL and then the routing key. So this is where you would replace your routing key with who you want to designate to get these different alerts from Amazon CloudWatch and the VictorOps platform. And what I mean by that, if you scroll down, if you see I'm scrolling down at the bottom, this is where you can set up your routing key names to go to the different escalation teams here. In addition, you can also see here we can create different incidents for different entities in different states. You can also auto-resolve incidents if you wanted to from here. We do have a bi-directional integration with Slack, so if you guys are using Slack or HipChat, you'll be able to communicate both ways. And so if your teams are working on those and they don't want to work in the VictorOps platform, that's certainly something you could use. That's our integrations. I'm going to pop over now to our transmogrifier. So I talked about this a little bit. It's a really powerful tool, and it allows you to transform alerts as they're coming in. Add runbooks, documentation to alerts. It can also allow you to modify the payload of an alert. So for instance, if you know something that's coming through that's actually just a warning or that's info only and not critical, certainly you can modify those. So for example, if I scroll down, you'll see I found one here. I can click on Edit. So this is where you can attach your URL. You can fill in your URL here, and your notes go here. Attach your different runbooks or URLs. Certainly you can do that. And you can also transform the alert here. Again, transforming message type from warning to info in that example. If this is something that you guys wanted to do, we highly recommend it, and we recommend that you reach out to our teams, and we'll make sure that you understand how to set these up and maybe provide you some other ideas of how you could use a transmogrifier. So be sure to reach out to us if you have questions regarding that. All right, so the final thing I want to wrap up and keep this short is with reports. So we've got 6 different reports here. Probably the most popular one is our postmortem report here. If I click on this postmortem report, I can create a new report. I'm going to name this Test Tuesday Demo. And I'm going to have it start from today at 8:30. And then today at 12:30. And notice the information is filling in below. Before I kind of get into the information below, notice you can also add a write-up to this report. So if you just want to enter a summary of your findings, perhaps you want to document, the problem started at 9:15 and was wrapped up at 9:30. Something like that. Certainly, you can kind of get creative with different things you can do from there. Then as I kind of come down, you'll see this takes everything from within the timeline. So we talked about that earlier about how the timeline captures everything, and this is sort of where you can use that information to your advantage. So if you have post-mortem meetings and you want to discuss how maybe to make things better, what happened, how can we improve from it, these type of reports come in really handy. So certainly you can exclude things that aren't important from here, or when you find a problem like this, we can add notes to it. Say, this is started, and add that note. So that note is now tied in with this. And if I wanted to go ahead and save this report, it's now saved. And from here, we can print it up or create a PDF from this and distribute it amongst the team if you needed to. That's our post-mortem report. That tends to be our most popular one. Another popular one is our incident frequency report. And obviously, because this will show you, where some of your problems are coming from, where the most common issues that you're seeing from here. So this is another popular one. And of course, you can export this report too to a variety of different ways. One last report, our user metrics. Now keep in mind this is a demo account, so it's got information in here that may not be filled in. But what you might want to see if you're a manager of the team is how many incidents have come in, on the left-hand side is assigned to user, who's acknowledging them, and how fast are they resolving these incidents. So this can be really powerful information for you to take back too. All right, folks, that's the VictorOps demo in 20 minutes. I'm going to open up to some questions now and let some of you guys respond if you have questions. If not, certainly we'll follow up with you after to see, if you want to take this offline, and we'll give you a little bit more personalized demo of how this works. Okay, it looks like we have one question about Nagios and how that would work as far as integration. So that tends to be the most popular monitoring tool that we see. So we do have a bi-directional integration with Nagios. So just so you can see how that would work, I'm going to go over to Settings. I'm going to click on Integrations. And as you see here, Nagios is listed right here. From here, it's got some information about the configuration of it. And if you wanted more information about how to set that up, we can click on the knowledge base here for the Nagios plugin. And it's going to list out exactly how to set that up. Now, what's really important, if you have any trouble with that, be sure to reach out to us. Our operations team can help you make sure you have that set up and maybe provide you some other advice that you weren't aware of with the platform. Big question. And if you wanted just a basic email integration, obviously we have a knowledge base here. But the other one I'd highly recommend because it's more bi-directional. Let me see if we have any other questions here. All right, it doesn't look like we have any other questions, so I appreciate you guys joining us. Like I said, I wanted to keep this short and brief. We will certainly follow up with everyone individually after this, but we appreciate your time, and have a great afternoon. Thanks so much.